morning and happy Monday. It's time for a 1-minute mystery to start your week. The case. A person's efforts end up inflicting pain on millions of children around the world. Despite the children's tears, the person is hailed as a hero. The mystery. Who is this person and what resulted from this person's efforts? The clues. The person is a man. The man invented a process. And the next three are giveaways. I have to give you something, that's not enough. He's a man who invented a process. If you got it from that, I'm impressed, okay? But I will go ahead and not hold back any clues this time because I feel like they're all pretty obvious, and I feel like if I give one, I might as well give all three, and I have to give something because what you have is not enough. So, this person is a man. This person invented a process. The man is a doctor who lived during the 20th century. The process is a vaccine that cures a crippling disease. And the vaccine can now be taken orally, which I guess saves a lot of those children's tears that were mentioned a minute ago. All right, 1 minute, go. The answer? Dr. Jonas Salk, who invented a vaccine against polio. I'm not looking for a fight or for controversy, but I'm a very, very big fan of vaccinations. Some people have bad reactions. My brother had terrible reactions to being vaccinated as a kid. I remember he was unconscious. He was turning blue. I imagine that he was running a fever because my dad was holding him out the upstairs window in the snow. There was a little landing area above the front porch, and he was holding him out in the snow until the ambulance got there. And it was terrifying. And my mom had to fight like hell back then to get my brother admitted into schools without his vaccines. She had to go before the school board, and she brought medical records and everything to prove he could not get the vaccinations that they wanted. It was not an option. It was something you had to have, or you had to prove you had a medical exemption. I imagine like Christian Science and some religious exemptions might have existed, but it wasn't a choice at all. It was, you got them to protect other children. And that works. The whole herd immunity works. So my mom made a point that my sister and I had every possible inoculation to make sure that nothing got through to my brother because he was vulnerable, because he couldn't get his vaccines. I know it kept us alive. I know my brother went on to have a beautiful family. He's got a wife and 3 kids. And I don't know what would have happened if my sister and I hadn't gone and gotten all the vaccines we could. It's possible that some disease could have slipped in and it just would have taken him because he had no protection from it. And it's terrifying to see smallpox and things that are so preventable popping up right now. I mean, if you're anti-vax, I don't understand it. I don't think that vaccines should be mandatory. I think that it should always be your right. But I also don't think if you don't vaccinate your kids, that those kids should be allowed to go to schools and play areas where vulnerable children who don't have a choice are, because you are making your choice. it's just dangerous for other people. But I do think you have the right to decide for yourself and for your children whether you get vaccinated or not. But there are consequences to that decision. And at least at school, it should be taken seriously, because kids shouldn't be suffering or dying of completely preventable diseases. Things that most of their parents and grandparents were vaccinated against. And obviously, it didn't destroy them. I don't understand people who have a negative reaction to vaccines being anti-vax. It just makes no sense to me, because you should want this wall of people around you who can keep a disease away, instead of everybody around you being vulnerable so the disease can just run free. I don't think this is a political issue either. I think it's just a personal choice. I don't think it should be in the hands of the government. I like that the government can step in and offer accessibility to vaccines at reasonable cost or free, but that's kind of where I think the government should stop their involvement. I don't know. It's just so sad to see things popping up. And polio was so devastating. It's like we eradicate something and then we forget how much pain and devastation it caused. What, for out of fear of autism? Or I don't know. I would much rather my kid be autistic than a dead child, especially dead of some painful, preventable disease. Okay, I might edit all of that out because I just don't want to fight with people online about it. I get mistrust of the government. I get mistrust of the medical industry. I get wanting to make decisions for your own family and fighting against the idea of mandatory vaccines. I don't think that applies to, jobs where you're going to interact with the public. If your employer decides you're interacting with the public on my behalf, I need you to be vaccinated, then you need to be vaccinated. You still do have the choice. That's not mandating. That is giving you the choice to vaccinate or not. And if you don't, then you can't work this particular job or you can't go to this particular school. It's just a cause and effect thing. It is part of you making a decision. There is no demanding your way and then expecting the world to just cater to you. If you decide you don't want to vaccinate, you're deciding you don't want to be a cop in some areas, or you don't want to be a school teacher or a nurse. It's just a matter of personal responsibility. If you want to be a nurse, you get vaccinated. If you want to be a police officer, in most areas, you get vaccinated. I don't know why this became such an issue, and people started pushing back as if they're being forced to be vaccinated when they're not. They're being given a choice. This is what you have to do to get this job. There are often dozens of things that you have to meet in order to get a job, and this is just another one of them. You have to be a certain height to be a cop. You have to have a certain education level to be a teacher. You can't just demand to be given whatever you want regardless of your choice. If it was somehow reversed and suddenly some vaccine was found to be dangerous to others and you couldn't go to school or you couldn't work certain jobs if you got a vaccine, then I would accept that, I have to bring that into my thought process in whether or not I want to be vaccinated. Okay, the light is getting really weird here. So, enough with the vaccines. I wish you all health and happiness. Stay safe, listen to your instincts, and come back on Monday. We all need something to spark up the brain a little bit. All right. He's a man who invented a process. If you got it from that, I'm impressed. Okay. Leave a little like needle emoji or something. I don't know how you did that.